Hi y'all, it's Belle. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm filming a sit down video. And this video topic is something that I feel like a lot of us can be struggling with in different seasons of our life. And it's very, very important to always remember that if we are ever going to get somewhere and achieve these big goals that we have to do it scared, because fear is literally an obstacle to success. It also is something that success is rooted in as well, but we'll get into that within the video. I have 10 tips for y'all along with some awesome affirmations. And at the end of the video, I want to do a guided meditation with journal prompts. It resonated with me so deeply that I felt the need to share it because I know that this video is really going to change someone's life. And as I'm working on myself, I know that this journey is something that I am on to help other people, so I might as well share the little tips and tricks that I pick up along the way. So without further ado, let's get into this video, y'all. So for my first tip, people are going to talk anyway. So being kind of self-conscious or worried about what other people will think of you because you start your YouTube channel, because you start content creation, because you go back to school, because you have a kid and you're not married, because you do anything that you want to do in your life, people will always have an opinion about anything. People literally have opinions about how people wear their shoes, how people put their clothes on every day, how people organize their houses. People have opinions about everything, how people do their own children's hair. Like, if you're not doing anything that harms or you're not doing anything bad, someone entering your business to give you instruction on how to do said thing, it's just, people have opinions about everything. So you have to remove the mindset and the thought process of people judging you and being worried about what people think about you, because at the end of the day, people don't even know what they think about themselves. And two affirmations that I have for this is, most people barely know themselves. Why does it matter what they think of you? If people can't even focus on their own goals and they don't have nothing going for themselves, why are you worried about you when you're doing something that could be better in your life? When you're doing something that's focused on your betterment, they're focused on you and you're focused on yourself. It sounds like a fan. And then the next quote is, y'all be caring about being judged by the most regular, lame ass human beings on earth. Don't do that. And that wraps up this point perfectly, because who is anyone else to judge you? None of us are God. None of us are perfect. None of us actually know what to do, unless it's someone that's an elder that you admire, that they really are on a path in life that you want to go on and you are on the wrong path to get where they're going. You are completely and wholly in charge of yourself, and you have the autonomy to make your life the most beautiful thing ever. And you have to make sure that you do that within your power, beyond your power, as hard as you can. Because at the end of the day, when you get older and when you look back at your life, you are the person that's in charge of your own success. So if you're the person that held yourself back because you were scared, because you were worried about what somebody else was thinking, because you were worried about what your mama said, not it at all. Our second tip is, every time you let fear win, you are depriving yourself of the life that you want and the life that you deserve. So every time and I'm gonna use myself as an example, I'm gonna call myself out because I'm making the video, right? Every time I have a video idea, I would write it down, I would do research on it, and then I would just sit on it. Wouldn't do anything about it. And I would just be like, oh, I don't know enough. What if I'm not, qualified to be a knower? Why will they trust me? What do I give to them that's going to make them believe? All of that is BS, and it's excuses of why you won't execute on a plan, because and this goes right into the second point, you aren't scared of success. I'm not scared of success. I'm actually scared of being great and proving everybody wrong, because then it'll be like, I told you so, but low-key in a good way, but in a bad way. Because it's like, if I knew I was going to be good, and if I have this mindset that I'm going to be great and I'm putting it off, is because I'm trying to keep my light dim, because that's how I've been conditioned. People have taught you how to not shine. People have taught you that you were too much. People have told me and scolded me and scorned me and made sure that I knew that I was nothing, because that's how they felt about themselves. And I internalized that shit and projected it in my own life. So instead of shining and being the light and being the amazing, abundant source that I was meant to be, I'm over here dimming myself down, because I'm afraid that if I'm too much, people will run away again. I'm afraid that if I'm too much, that no one will be around and no one will like me and no one will stay. And I know that I'm not the only person that has that mindset. So what I want you to do is understand that the people that are in your life that love you, the people that are supposed to be in your life that care about you, are going to rock with you regardless. They don't care if you're up, down, around, left, right, crooked, bing bong. They're there for you because they love you. They want the best for you. They want to see you shine. They want to see you be bright like a diamond. They care about your success inevitably, no matter what. No strings attached, no nothing. But the people that are worried about you outshining them, worried about you doing better than them, worried about you getting more than, those are the type of people that you don't need around, because your friends, when you eat, they eat. When they eat, you eat. That's the type of people you need in your life. It's just so sad and it's so heartbreaking sometimes when you have those realizations of, where did these lived beliefs that I have come from? What are they rooted in? And when you really figure it out, you realize that it was never me. It was me internalizing all this bullshit and letting it stick to me instead of filtering it out and getting it out of my system. I let it stay. I let it stick. So now you have an air filter that hasn't been changed, or but I'm gonna use that reference because it makes sense. Now you have an air filter or a water filter that hasn't been changed, and you're drinking contaminated water, contaminated information, because your brain hasn't been cleared out. There's so much gunk and BS and mess stuck in there. It's like a blood clot. You're gonna have a fucking aneurysm or a heart attack or whatever happens whenever the blood's not flowing properly. You gotta get that shit out. You have to work hard to know that everything that people have told you, that's not true. That's not you. That's them. That's them projecting their bad energy. You are a light. You are abundant. You are a source, and you need to let that be known, regardless of who cannot take the heat and who the fuck needs to get out of the what? The kitchen. Thank you. And I also have some awesome affirmations to go with that too. Be so beautifully consumed by loving and becoming your true self that you have no energy left to compare yourself to anyone else. Is that not beautiful? I think that is so beautiful, because when you are really on that path of working and really doing that inner work and really taking care of business, you are not worried about what nobody else has to say. Nobody. Another one that I feel like really does go with this, because we talked about trauma. I promise you can still make a beautiful life for yourself, even if you lost many years of it to abuse, mental illness, or trauma. So all of that shit that used to happen, all of that BS, you have to realize that you are now in a safe space where you have full control of yourself. None of that follows you here. And if it did follow you here, you need a one-way ticket out. If it's safe. If not, we got to make a game plan on how you can get out of there, because all of that BS that's keeping you away from being the best version of yourself and keeping you in that fear mindset is literally going to drain you until there's nothing left. So you have to separate yourself from that. And if it's your mindset, these affirmations, they need to become your bread and butter. You need to write them down. You need to stick them on your mirror. You need to put them on your phone. Every place that you get, you need to fill it with positivity and fill it with beautiful abundance. You need to fill it with things that are going to kill, that are going to replace, that are going to really annihilate all that negativity that's in your mind. Because if you don't, that stuff is really going to take until you literally have nothing left. Let's go into tip number 4. And that is, everything you want is on the other side of fear. I know everyone has heard that before. It's a quote. It's on Pinterest. It's on somebody's back. It's on somebody's arm. It's on somebody's ass cheeks. But here to reiterate it again, because it is a really true and valid thing. Everything that you want is on the other side of fear. So if you know that you want a Bentley, a Bentley Benz, you want a Bentley Benz Bugatti, that means you need to make a lot of money. And if you're going to make a lot of money, that means you need to elevate your skill set. And if you're going to elevate your skill set, that means you need to do some research on what skill sets to elevate so that you're able to make the money that you need to make to get that Bentley Benz Bugatti. But if you're too scared to even understand how beautiful and expansive your mind is and how there's nothing that you can't do when you put your mind to it, you're going to stay stagnant. And that is ghetto. You want to be stagnant? That sounds so broke. I know you don't want to be broke. You wouldn't be watching this video if you wanted to be broke. And if you do want to be broke, I need you to DM me. We need to talk. We need to do some very intensive prayers, because something's not clicking up here for you to desire brokenness. That is very strange and obscure. And I will have to talk to you very I will need to speak to your angels. I will need to, you don't want to be you want to be mediocre. That is very awkward. I don't like that. So, I have an affirmation for that. I do. I have an affirmation for that. People romanticize their plans, but dread the execution. The magic of what you're looking for is in the work you've been avoiding. So avoidance, let's not get all touchy-feely and think that I'm not calling you out. I am calling you out, but gently and lovingly, because I know that I have been in this space before. I know. So avoidance is not only rooted in laziness, procrastination, not wanting to be better. It's also rooted in fear. It's also rooted in anxiety. It's also rooted in depression. What if you don't think that you can be good enough to do this work? What if you don't feel like you have the knowledge to do this work? Because I know for me, I've had imposter syndrome so bad for a very, very long time, especially throughout my academic career, which has ended for now. I just graduated with my master's, but I do want to get my PhD. But I do know how it feels to feel like you have no place where you are. You don't have any, like, you just feel like a stranger. Even though you've been learning the material, even though you've been doing the assignments, you still feel so alien to everything. That is your fear and your anxiety winning, and you cannot let them win. You are the big dog. You are the chief. You are the winner. So anytime you feel like those thoughts are getting too powerful, remember who you are, remember what you have, and remember what you're capable of, because that right there is your power, and no one else on this earth has that but you. So never forget it. Going into tip number 5. There is someone out there that can benefit from your story and your journey. And that is what encourages me to keep posting. I love content creation. I think it's so cool. I think it's so fun. I think it's an amazing way to connect with people. I think it's an amazing way to share your creativity. I think that's all really, really cool. But if I'm 100% honest with you, one of the main reasons why I continue to create content is because I genuinely want to help someone. If it's one person, if it's 2 people, shit, if it's 5 people, yeah, call me the self-help guru, you know? Like, I genuinely want to help people do better and be better in life, because I know that there were certain things that I struggled with, and if I would have known, and it's not only if I would have known, if I would have taken the lessons that someone was teaching me and understood them and like implemented them, my life would be so different. But at the same time, I'm thankful for the ways that everything happened for me, because without having that journey that's personally mine, I wouldn't be able to tell other people these things, or know what people might need to know, or what people might want to know, or figure out all these things in the grand scheme of life, because no one really knows what they're doing. We're just all trying our best. And so in that trying our best, my trying my best is learning from my mistakes and giving the information to others so they don't make the same ones. And even if they do, at least you know that somebody's there with you, and somebody has come back from that mistake. Somebody has become even better from that mistake. It just helps you rewrite your narrative in an unnegative way, because sometimes when we see so many stories perpetuated of like, oh, I went through this happened, this happened, this happened. But what about somebody that said, I went through this, and that happened. But you know what? This did, and this did. And look at me now. Went through all that because it was necessary for my journey and for my story. So yeah, I think that that's just really, really important to understand that everything that you go through in your life is so, so important. And it's so necessary to who you are as a person. And don't ever let any parts of your story feel so dark and so dirty and so bad and so taboo that you never feel like it's necessary, because every little part, the good, the bad, the dark, the light, all of it is a beautiful culmination of what makes you you, and the most special, ethereal, super beautiful, whimsical, serendipitous human being that you are. And no one can take that from you, because that is your power. You see how it works? You're special because of the things you went through, good and bad. Like, all of that is part of your story and it's part of your power. See, there's nothing to be scared of because you are literally an amazing person that has done things in life like all of us have. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes big fucking mistakes too. But it's all about how you use your down to build you back up. You know? Yeah. The next thing is trying and learning. Like I said in the beginning, trying and learning is a part of life, and success is rooted in fear. Being brave enough to do it, which means like doing it scared, means that you have everything in you already to be great. So the fact that you can even have an ideation or have a visual of what a dream life could be like for you, the fact that you even have the power to visualize that means that you also have the power to make it a thing. Visualization, one of the first steps of manifestation, one of the biggest parts of manifestation. Visualization is the biggest parts of anything. If you don't have a vision of what you're going to do, you can't go forward. Visions are just goals that are not quite written down, that kind of come to our minds in a, catatonic state, and we have to flesh them out and turn them into actual actionable steps. But the fact that you have the power to visualize yourself being a certain person, visualize yourself being a certain thing, means you have the power to get there, period. So there's, again, nothing to be afraid of. Say you're a content creator person. Learn how to do a simple face. I want to do a back to the basics beginner series on my channel. And if you are interested, I will be doing a beginner's filming face, what you need to look good on camera, what needs to pop on camera. And this has come from many years of me coming on camera without makeup, years of me coming on camera with crazy looking makeup, me coming on camera with a decent makeup. Like today, I really like my look. I look cute, do I not? Very. And so it's just, there are little things that you may be like, oh, but I can't do this, but I can't do that. But can you learn? Are you dedicated enough to learn? Are you committed enough to learn? Because once you start learning the different things and you start taking these different steps, you realize that you weren't really scared. You just didn't really know what to do, and that triggered your anxiety. I have another little quote for you. I will no longer be embarrassed. I will no longer be a victim of insecurity. I will no longer plague my mind with worries. I exist. I am allowed to exist. I'm allowed to take up space. I will not let others dictate my experience. I will live. I will live. I will live. When I first saw this quote, I'm not going to hold you. I did cry. I did, because it really spoke to me in a different way, because when you are someone that has grown up being very anxious, very anything, introverted, with a lot of trauma, with a lot of like mental battles, if you've grown up with a lot of mental health issues, you know how hard it is sometimes when you literally are smiling, talking to your friends, talking about how you're excited to go to a party, but in your mind, you're literally like, I don't want to go to this party. I'm too ugly. I already know I'm going to look bad in my outfit. Like, you have this inner dialogue that's so negative and so mean, and it's been on go for so long, but yet you've been able to mask and do a show for your friends, so everyone's like, oh, why are you acting like this? Like, let's go. And then you just play it off. But in reality, you really are in your mind being probably the most disgusting person to yourself that's ever existed, bro. Because I remember those days. I remember pretending like I was not happy at all, was not excited for shit, had to be twisted and turned to the next level, to the max, had to be, I don't even know, out of my mind in order to actually operate and exist in social settings, because my anxiety was that bad. And then it got to a point where I didn't go out at all. I was not ever leaving because I was so scared. I was so fed up with the way people treated me, with the way that this would always happen to me and that and all this stuff. And I was so stuck in that victim mindset that I didn't realize that I'm the author of my own story. I can create whatever fucking narrative I want. Fuck what anybody else thinks about me, because they're gonna think whatever anyways. So if I want to wake up tomorrow and be the baddest bitch on my block, I can do that, because I have the power to create my reality. No one else does. No one's doing anything to me if I'm not allowing them to. They're talking about me, but they're talking about me. Sounds like a fan. And I wish I would have had this mentality earlier because I would have been so powerful. But I know now, and I'm here to give it to you so you can be powerful. And I can be proud of you. And we can just exist, bro. Like, your life is beautiful. You deserve to exist. You are beautiful. Do you know how many people do not wake up in the morning? Do you know how many people pray for limbs, pray for life, pray for There's so many things that we have that people pray for, wish for, beg for. So if you have a facility that is functioning in any capacity, because that's a blessing to breathe, amen? And if you woke up, you have a purpose. And that's the next one. Tip number 8. Everyone has purpose. If you are alive, you have a purpose. If you are breathing, you have a purpose. And I have a quote for everything that I just said. Don't you love the quotes? If you inherently long for something, become it first. If you want gardens, become the gardener. If you want love, embody love. If you want mental stimulation, change the conversation. If you want peace, exude calmness. If you want to fill your world with artists, begin to paint. If you want to be valued, respect your own time. If you want to live ecstatically, find the ecstasy within yourself. Find the ecstasy within yourself. This is how to draw it in, day by day, inch by inch. I found the muse in myself, and I loved her fiercely. I just want y'all to know that whoever watches this, I want you to know that this is coming from the bottom of my heart. And I want you to know that just as much as this is for y'all, this is for me too. I, every day, am thankful that I have a platform that I can talk freely on, but I genuinely want to really use this more as a place where we can heal with each other and grow with each other and learn to love and learn to live with each other. Because there are so many things in this world that teaches us how to be divisive, that teaches us how to be hateful, that breeds this fear that we have that is so painstakingly difficult to bear, that has some of us to where we don't even want to be here. We don't even want to be in community with each other. As human beings, we are primed for community. Community is an essential part of our life. But yet, because of so many different things that we have going on in our environment, in our outer world, we can't be with each other in certain ways. And so I hope that this is something that reminds you that there are so many different vibrations and frequencies of love out there that just want to connect with you. And this channel is one of them. I always want to have positive vibes. I always want to have loving vibes. I always want to have healing vibes over here because I know how hard it is to pull yourself up when you've been beaten down so bad. But I also want you to know that there is a way to bounce back and be the best version of yourself, be better than you've ever been in the midst of darkness, because I am living proof of it. There are so many things that have happened in my life that have never happened before, that are so different, that hurt in new ways, but I also have healed and worked hard to make sure that when I did come across these things, that I was strong enough, that I was healed enough, that I was prepared enough, that I was armored enough to be able to fight through them to essentially achieve the goals that I needed to achieve. And I'll get into that more in another video. But right now I do want to finish our list. We have 2 more tips. Okay. And these 2 tips, these last 2 ones, they're going to make me a little emotional again. So I apologize. But this video, I'm so thankful I get to share it with y'all. So tip number 9 is the reason you have to do it scared is because you have to be your biggest fan. You have to think that, you know what, Belle, you are so beautiful. You are so amazing. You are so knowledgeable. You are so awesome. And this video you're about to film is going to change millions of lives. It don't matter what my track record is right now. Millions of lives. It don't matter if I've never gotten more than 5,000 views on a video. Millions of lives. Because I am so iconic. And I believe in myself so much that I know that my words are powerful and can really change some things for people, because that is my gift. And I'm going to share this gift until I can't speak no more, baby. Because I'm my biggest fan now. I used to be my biggest op. I used to be the kid that everybody wanted to respectfully, because they're always talking too much, tattling too much. But to myself. So I was just like an op. I was so oppy. Like Drake said, it's oppy outside. Because I was outside. Imagine, you are your own biggest hater? That's strange. Again, the dubious behavior is resurfacing. Okay, baby? I need you to understand. This life will beat you enough. You have to love yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to know that everybody else is irrelevant when it comes to you. Okay? You have to be your biggest fan. Especially when you have big goals. How are you going to achieve things if you're being your own op? It sounds like you probably will be pretty destructive. Be pretty self-sabotaging. Love yourself. Give yourself a hug. Like a good one. I want you to squeeze. I love you. That's exactly what I want you to do. If you didn't just do that with me, you're an op to yourself. Don't shoot the messenger. And tip number 10. The last tip. You have someone in you to make proud. I have someone in me to make proud. We all have someone in us to make proud. As a Capricorn dominant person, I was born an adult. My inner child is a miniature adult. Real cool. Real stand-up girl. Real cool little bit. But she still has things that she has to heal from that only me in my big girl body can do. And so that means going after my wildest dreams. That means taking a chance on myself and filming the content. That means playing dress up in my room because of how much I love fashion, how much I've always loved fashion. That means doing my makeup to make myself happy. That means being happy to do my skincare routine. That means being happy to do my self-care routines. All of those little things that you know have always made you happy, regardless how it could make other people view you, are so important to healing that inner child. So if you've ever wanted to be a content creator, if you wanted to be a dancer, if you wanted to be a singer, if you wanted to be a firefighter, shit, if you wanted to be a corn dog, You better go get that corn dog costume off of Amazon Prime and wear that shit to work. You better go get you some leotards from Capezio, get you some jazz shoes, and get your ass on a yoga mat, because it's gonna be hard. Dance is not easy. My best friend's a professional ballerina. Sometimes her shoes be bloody. So yeah. You said you want to be a writer? You better get that fucking notebook out and put pen to paper. You couldn't even pass 8th grade writing test. You said you want to be a writer. You better get on YouTube, take some courses. I love beauty. I always have. It's written in my stars. My astrological chart is set up real nice to set with the Venus rising and the Libra Mars. Just the way it's set up, I'm just beauty down. I love pretty things. I love pretty things. I love pretty things. And that's what brings me joy. And there's nothing wrong with that. Even though I felt guilty because I'm like, oh, that's not scholarly enough. I'm not being a proper scholar, academic. I'm being too much of a hot girl. I'm a hot academic. Yeah, y'all. So now it's time. Now it's time for the little journal prompts, or the little reflection time. After all the tips, let's do reflection. Okay? Are you ready? And wait, let me see if I have any more quotes for y'all. And I got a little emotional. This is the final quote before we do our reflection. Finish something. Anything. Stop researching. Stop planning and preparing to do the work, and just do the work. It doesn't matter how good or how bad it is. You don't need to set the world on fire with your first try. You just need to prove to yourself that you have what it takes to produce something. There are no artists, athletes, entrepreneurs, or scientists who became great by half finishing their work. Stop debating what you should make and just make something. Okay, y'all. So now we're wrapping up the video. I have some healing frequency sounds playing in the background, and these healing frequency sounds are specifically for the root chakra, because that is the chakra, when you have it aligned, it helps you gain basic trust, and it helps you let go of fear, anxiety, and worry. And that is kind of like the essence of this video. So I wanted to close it out with some nice calming sounds that were also restorative. So if you listen to my voice, you can hear the sounds, and it also adds to the calming ambiance, because I feel like all of these practices can be layered, and when you layer them, it makes them more enjoyable, because you're romanticizing the fact that you are not only working on healing yourself like mentally, but also auditorially, because what you're listening to is also things that are like really good for you, and the things you're thinking about are really good for you. So you're just processing all this nice rich goodness. I hope that makes sense. The prompt is called How to Be Afraid and Do It Anyway, which is so perfect for the video. So the first thing says, write down all your fears. Include worst case scenarios and best possible outcomes as well. Read them to someone that you trust, or you can read them out loud to yourself, because I feel like sometimes when you're doing this personal inner work, it is nice to do it in community with people that you trust, but not all of us have access to that. So remember that you are also your own community. And if you are someone that believes in like ancestors and stuff, if you read it out loud in the space, whoever is a sacred person for you, like I have my mother and my grandmother that I always light a white candle and I talk to them. And so if you have practices that are similar, you can do that. But just know that you don't have to read it to someone else. You can also keep it to yourself or read it to the environment. Like a lot of times I be talking to my dog, so that's me. I just want to give you alternative options. Validate the feelings that accompany your fears, and by validating those feelings, you are reckoning with them in a way that says, I know that you exist and I understand why you exist, but I'm not going to allow you to take up space and to prohibit my growth in the ways that you have before. You can make peace with your demons. And I know that that sounds crazy, but you never really lose the demons. You just figure out how you understand each other and you learn to work with each other. You know, that's a part of life. Flood yourself with stories of people who were afraid but did it anyway. Include stories of people who failed and learned from it. This is one of my favorite tactics in doing work like this because it helps me feel less alone. And that's why I shared personal narratives of my own with you, so that you understood that I am a person that is actively, presently, historically, and probably in the future going to go through things of this nature. But each time I've gotten better at it because I've made myself keep going. So there are certain things that I would not do, second guess, put off before, that now I'll just do it. Like filming this video, I got the idea, I was writing it down. I knew that I wanted to make this year my year, that I was going to take things serious. And so I'm executing as we speak. And with that, I want to end our, journal prompt thing. So if any of these were helpful or resonated with you, I hope that you can apply them. And if you have any questions about anything that you wanted me to go more in depth with, please let me know. I love making content like this. I really, at my core, want to help people become the best versions of themselves, because it's really important, especially if you're someone that struggles like I do. So, just know that being afraid is normal. And when you're growing, it's so much more normal, because you are realizing that there's so many different feelings. There's so many different, you just learn so much. Your brain just exponentially grows when you allow it to. And so you have to understand that when you're learning all this new information and you're taking all this new information, your brain is probably in a mode where it's like, what is all of this? I don't know what to do with this. So I'm going to go into our trusty fear mode. And that's why a lot of times we get the way that we get. So just understand that it's just a series of relearning, deconstructing, reconstructing, understanding, ununderstanding, education, miseducation, re-education. And that is totally fine, because our lives are our own personal journeys, and you get there when you get there. Obviously, you want to get there, sooner than later, so you don't spend all your life struggling and such, but do your best. Just do your best. I love you so much, and I hope that this was helpful, and I can't wait to see you in the next upload. I wish you the best, and 2024 will be your year to do it scared, because we all have to at some point. Love you. See you in the next video.